Number 1, drink your pee. You've seen it. You've definitely seen it. Some guy stranded in a desert dramatically squeezing liquid gold from a sock, then sipping it like a fine wine while the narrator whispers, survival. But here's the thing, drinking your own pee is less Bear Grylls and more barely functional kidneys. Yes, your body filters out waste into urine for a reason. That reason is not so you can put it back in. Urine contains salt, urea, ammonia, and other delightful substances your body wanted gone. So unless you're into reruns of biological failure, drinking pee in a survival situation is basically borrowing energy from a dead battery. Worse if you're already dehydrated, which you definitely are. If you're even thinking about drinking your pee, that stuff is more concentrated, like chugging salty soup brewed in a dirty Brita filter. All it does is make you more dehydrated and more desperate. So you do it again. Welcome to the feedback loop of doom. In extreme conditions, the best case scenario is disgusting and useless. Worst case, you overload your kidneys, vomit from the taste, and then lose even more fluids. Congratulations, you've turned your survival plan into a medical self-roast. Moral of the story, if your body didn't want it, you probably shouldn't recycle it. Number 2, ration your water. This one sounds logical, like something a wise person with a beard would say while staring into the horizon. Make it last, they say, sipping 2 drops per hour. Except your body didn't sign that contract. It still wants full hydration now. Here's the science slap. When you're in a survival scenario, the biggest threat isn't running out of water next week, it's dropping dead from heat stroke or kidney failure today. Sipping slowly may give you the illusion of control, but your body will still go full rage mode if it doesn't get what it needs. Water you don't drink doesn't help you. That bottle sitting in your bag like a smug little secret, it's not cooling you down, it's not hydrating your cells, and it's definitely not preventing your brain from baking like a microwaved burrito. Drink enough when you need it. Keep track, stay smart, but don't worship the bottle like it's a sacred relic. Dehydration is not noble, it's just deadlier thirst. Number 3, follow birds to water. Ah yes, the old just follow the birds advice, as if robins are the friendly Uber drivers of the wilderness. The idea is simple, birds need water, so if you follow them, they'll lead you to it. Makes sense, until it doesn't. Let's ruin this with facts. First, birds fly. They don't take scenic detours for your convenience. Second, some birds can go days without water because they get moisture from their food. That's right, they're out here munching bugs and vibing, not scheduling pit stops for parched humans. Third problem, altitude. You see birds flying cool. Are they going to water or just heading to a cliff 3 miles away? Hope your calves are ready to hike straight into disappointment. Also, do you know what else birds gather around garbage dumps, carcasses, areas with shiny objects? So sure, follow those birds. Just don't be surprised when your grand water discovery turns out to be a seagull picking at a tuna can in a parking lot. Number 4, eat snow for hydration. It's just frozen water, right? So if you're stuck in a snowy survival situation, why not just shovel that powdery goodness into your mouth like a frosty lifesaver? Here's why hypothermia. Eating snow lowers your core temperature. Your body, already stressed and cold, now has to use precious energy to melt and warm that snow inside your stomach. And guess what happens when your core temp drops too far? You get slower, dumber, and eventually you just lie down in the snow and take a quick nap. Forever. And that's if the snow's clean. In the real world, snow can be packed with bacteria pollution, or if you're really unlucky, something a bear peed on yesterday. Yum. The smarter move, melt it first. Any heat source will do. Even just letting it sit in a container inside your jacket for a while. It's slower, but so is dying from organ failure. Just remember, snow is not a snack. It's frozen betrayal disguised as hydration. Number 5, moss grows on the north side. This one's so baked into pop culture that it feels like survival gospel. Just find a tree, look at the moss and boom, that's north, except no. This advice works about as well as using Netflix buffering speed to predict the weather. Sure, in some conditions, usually in northern temperate forests with consistent sun angles, moss might prefer the north side. But moss is chaotic neutral. It doesn't follow your compass rules. It grows where it's moist, dark, and cozy. Sometimes that's the north, sometimes it's the entire tree, or just one stump, or a rock, or literally a moist boot some hiker left behind. Worse, if you blindly trust moss, you might start confidently marching in the wrong direction, like you're starring in your own wilderness TED Talk. 10 hours later, you're back where you started, except now you're lost and cocky. Moss is not your GPS. It's more like that one friend who thinks they know the way, but always ends up in a Taco Bell parking lot. Number 6, you have to make a fire immediately. Fire is warm. Fire is light. Fire makes you feel like a wilderness wizard. So naturally, many survival guides shout, make fire first. which sounds great until you realize you just spent 4 hours trying to rub 2 sticks together while your actual survival needs are tap dancing off a cliff. Here's the irony: in many situations, especially if you're not freezing, fire can wait. What you actually need first is shelter, protection from rain, wind, or sun. Your body loses heat much faster than you can build it back up with a campfire. Even worse, if you're burning energy and sanity chasing fire with no success, you're just draining yourself for no reason. Meanwhile, hypothermia sneaks up like, oh cool, he's distracted. Also, spoiler alert, modern nature isn't made of dry tinder bundles and helpful logs. It's damp, it's stubborn, and it laughs at your lighter when it's windy. Unless you're trained or lucky, fire's not coming fast. Fire is great when you're ready for it, but in the survival Olympics, building a crappy lean-to often earns more gold medals than playing Prometheus. Number 7, punch a shark in the nose. Okay, sure. You're being circled by a 2,000-pound apex predator with more teeth than a chainsaw convention, and some dude once told you to punch it in the nose. What is this, an oceanic bar fight? Let's unpack this myth. The nose is sensitive, yes. It's got electroreceptors sharks use to detect movement, but you're underwater, you're panicking. And that nose is small. Miss by an inch and you just slapped a murder submarine. Also, sharks don't attack like villains in a movie. They often hit fast from below or behind. By the time you see the shark, you're already in a losing game of tag and you're it. Good luck winding up a punch in slow-mo water physics while the shark is in full Jaws mode. The better and more survivable advice: aim for the eyes or gills if the shark attacks. But really, your best bet is not acting like prey in the first place. No splashing, no panic dances, no blood in the water. And maybe don't take your snorkeling gear into known shark territory unless you're also bringing a titanium cage and a prayer. Number 8, play dead with a bear. Somewhere along the line, someone decided that playing dead was the ultimate Uno reverse card against bears. Just lie down, don't move, and hope for the best. Great plan if you like roulette. Here's the fun twist: which bear are we talking about? Because the correct move changes depending on whether you're dealing with a grizzly or a black bear. And if you get it wrong, well, the bear's dinner plans just got a lot easier. Grizzly bears. Yes, playing dead might work if it's a defensive attack. Curl up, protect your neck, hope it loses interest before it turns your spine into trail mix. But black bears, no, do not play dead. That's basically serving yourself on a plate with a polite bon appetit. Black bears are more likely to see you as prey. Playing dead tells them, cool, this one's ready to go. What you actually want to do with a black bear is fight back, yell, throw stuff, look big, be the human equivalent of a raccoon on espresso. And if you're wondering how to tell the difference mid-attack, honestly, that's a problem. It's like figuring out dog breeds while being mauled. So unless you're a bear ID expert under pressure, this advice is basically a coin toss. Better option: avoid the encounter entirely, carry bear spray, make noise, and maybe don't use bear tactics you half remember from a nature documentary you watched 12 years ago at 2 a.m. Number 9, suck out the venom. Snake bite, time to go full cowboy mode and suck the venom out with your mouth, right? Maybe spit dramatically into the dirt and look into the distance like you've done something noble. Let's break this down with a healthy dose of science. Sucking venom doesn't work. The poison moves through your lymphatic system, not just chilling near the bite waiting for you to hoover it out like a milkshake. By the time your lips reach the wound, the venom is already packing its bags for a systemic road trip. And even if you could suck out a bit, you're risking infection tissue damage and maybe introducing venom into your own mouth tissues or open wounds. That's right, you might poison 2 people for the price of 1. Also, no one ever talks about how awkward that actually is. Are you supposed to stop and calmly remove your buddy's sock roll up their pant leg and start lip siphoning like it's normal? It's not heroic, it's weird and ineffective. What should you actually do? Stay calm, limit movement, and get to a hospital. Pressure bandage, sure. Splint the limb, okay. But keep your mouth off your friend's leg. This isn't a loyalty test, it's an emergency. Number 10, eat whatever the animals eat. Ah yes, nature's shortcut. If a squirrel can eat it, you can too. Right. Because your digestive system and the rodents are totally the same, and we're all just peaceful woodland creatures sharing berries under a rainbow. Wrong. Very wrong. Animals have evolved to digest things we absolutely cannot. Birds can eat berries that will send you straight into hallucinatory fever dreams. Deer can munch on plants that are basically poison salads. And squirrels, they eat fungi that would put a grown man in a coma. Also, squirrels chew on bones and bark and occasionally each other. So maybe don't use them as a food guide. Even animals that eat stuff humans can eat are trained by instinct to know what's ripe or safe. You're out here sniffing mushrooms and guessing like it's a foraging game show. Here's the worst part: some toxic plants won't hurt you right away. They wait, they let you hike another 5 miles, build a fire, and then bam, your kidneys RSVP to the afterlife. So unless you're a certified botanist or have a field guide stapled to your eyeballs, don't copy wildlife. They're not your nutritional role models, they're just wild things trying not to die, unlike you apparently. Number 11, rub 2 sticks together. If Hollywood taught you anything, it's that fire is just a matter of patience, passion, and rapidly spinning sticks. Maybe throw in some manly grunting for dramatic effect. But here's the spoiler, this is one of the hardest ways to start a fire, and unless you're a caveman with a PhD in friction, it's probably not happening. First off, it's not just any 2 sticks. You need the right kind of dry wood, one hard, one soft, plus ideal weather perfect form and enough endurance to qualify for the Olympic Forest Games. Add moisture wind or the fact that your hands are shaking from hunger and fear, fires not showing up, but blisters. Oh, blisters are absolutely RSVPing. Even if you manage to get a tiny coal now, you need tinder, not dry leaves. Proper tinder, something fluffy, dry, and angry enough to burst into flame with a whisper. And you have to transfer the coal into it without snuffing it out or lighting your eyebrows on fire. It's a delicate operation with all the joy of trying to do surgery in a wind tunnel. This is why most survival instructors, the real ones not Instagram ones, recommend you carry a lighter, or waterproof matches, or literally anything that wasn't pulled out of a Neolithic flashback. Rubbing sticks together is a fun party trick if you're a scout leader. In a survival situation, it's just you, some smoke, and your new best friend, hopelessness. Number 12, swim across the river. You're lost in the wild, there's a river between you and safety, so you do the logical thing, strip down, tie your boots to your backpack, and swim across like you're in a motivational poster. Except, rivers aren't movie sets, they're death traps in disguise. Fast-moving water can look deceptively calm. A current as slow as 6 mph can sweep your body like you're made of feathers and regret. That short swim turns into a floating tour of underwater rocks, tree branches, and panic. Also hypothermia. Rivers are cold even when the air isn't. That chill saps your strength faster than you expect. Arms get heavy, legs stop kicking, and suddenly you're a statistic. And that's if you can swim. A lot of people say they can. What they mean is, I can dog paddle in a pool when I'm not tired, cold, or carrying gear. The smarter move, walk the bank. Find a narrow spot, a downed tree, a calm bend. Build a raft if you're desperate, but don't just cannonball into nature's blender and hope for the best. Remember, the wilderness isn't grading you on courage, it's grading you on not dying. Number 13, signal for help with a fire. Seems logical, right? Big smoky fire, what, someone finds you, or sheesh, survival. But there's a huge asterisk here, your signal fire needs to be seen and not by everything else first. Let's imagine you do get the fire going. Great, but if you're in a dense forest, that smoke might just rise like a guilty conscience and disappear into the canopy. No planes, no hikers, no helpful rescuers. Just you and the squirrels choking on disappointment. Even worse, if you light a signal fire without prepping a safety zone, you've just invented your very own forest fire. One minute you're waving at helicopters, the next, you're fleeing flames like a rejected action hero. Not the plot twist you wanted. And the wind. Oh, the wind. It will turn your innocent smoke column into a confused sidewinder that looks more like a fart than a distress call. Want to signal help? Go for contrast. Bright colors, movement, use mirrors, yell, use whistles. If you must use fire, build it safely in an open area with green branches or leaves added slowly to create thick smoke. And be ready to put it out just as fast. Otherwise, you're not sending a signal, you're sending a problem. Number 14, climb to higher ground to get signal. This one is so tempting. You're out of range, your phone's useless, and suddenly you're scrambling up a cliff like some desperate Verizon commercial. Can you hear me now? No, actually. And now you're also winded and stuck. Yes, elevation can help with cell signal, but not always. Sometimes all it gets you is a better view of the nothing around you. Cell towers aren't magical, they have ranges. If you're outside that range, you could stand on Everest with 5 phones taped to your head and still get no service. Also, climbing is exhausting. You're burning energy and risking injury, twisted ankle slips, or full-on falls. In a survival scenario, energy is currency. Every calorie counts. Wasting them on a hike to nowhere is like investing in blockbuster stock in 2025. Worse, if you do get up there and still no signal, now you're just up high tired and possibly more lost than before. Unless you know there's reception up top like you've used it before or have a topo map, it's often smarter to conserve energy and wait in a clear visible location. The wild isn't impressed by your altitude, it's impressed by your ability to not die trying to be clever. Number 15. Eat raw fish like a survival god. You've seen it in every survival show. The host catches a fish, slices it open with something suspiciously sharp, and slurps it down like it's sushi from a 5-star cave. You're left thinking, wow, so primal, so efficient. No, just no. Raw fish is a bad idea in the wild, not because you're weak, but because you're not a bear. You don't have their stomach acid, you don't have their bacteria-fighting gut microbiome, you have a digestive system that freaks out over lukewarm gas station sushi. Real wild fish, especially freshwater, can carry all kinds of unwanted guests, parasites, bacteria worms, and protozoa. Yes, protozoa, that's right. You're not just risking food poisoning, you're potentially volunteering to be the new Airbnb for intestinal freeloaders. And if you think, but I'll only eat some, just a little, cool. Enjoy your long bathroom break in the bushes if your body even lets you stay upright. Cooking fish even just over a small flame isn't about flavor. It's about survival, not involving explosive diarrhea hallucinations or a tapeworm auditioning for a one-man show inside your intestines. Yes, you need calories, but you also need your organs to remain team players. Raw fish might look cool on screen, but in real life, that's not survival. That's just a bacterial trust fall.